Ladies and gentlemen, whiskey drinkers of all ages, the Mad Mix Cheap Whiskey Review, number 24. Oh my God. I drink cheap whiskey, so you don't have to. Obviously, there's 23 more cheap whiskeys, some of them gems, some of them not so much. On the bed today, we've got J&B, blended Scotch whiskey. Very famous Scotch whiskey. First time I've ever drank it in my life. But you'll see it on every shelf, in every liquor store, in just about every place, all over the world probably, but especially here in America. If you can't find this bottle, your eyes probably aren't working. This bottle cost me $19.99, very reasonable price. You know what I'm saying? Hey, they were established in 1749. Right about the year I was born, people. I'm fucking joking. Anyway, as you can tell by the color, which I noticed even in the bottle, there are days my piss is darker than that, you know what I'm saying? But we'll give it a run, see what it tastes like. On the nose. Well, right off the rip, you get honey. Honey and vanilla. A lot of sweetness. It smells like it's going to be sweet. So I can tell it's going to be sweet, which isn't a bad thing, but it's a very pleasant nose. No harsh ethanol smell whatsoever. Like none at all. You get some malt. Not a ton of malt. Not like some of these other cheap scotches. All right. I get the honey, the vanilla, tiny bit of malt. Maybe even a hint of spice on the back end, you know what I mean? Some scotches can be a little spicy on the back end. I don't know if it has to do with the barley they use, but hey, down the gullet it goes. Yeah, it's a little spicy on the palate too. I get the honey, very sweet. There's not a whole lot to it. It's got, let me see, is it gonna pick it up? You can see, I mean, it hugs the glass a little bit. You can kind of see it. It doesn't have those huge legs, but it's sticking around. It's got some decent mouthfeel to it. Not the best. We're not in single malt territory, people. Don't get it twisted. Probably if you're looking for a blended Scotch whiskey that's the most like a single malt, look back at my videos for the Grant's blended Scotch whiskey. That Grant's had some character to it. This is okay. It's light. It's very light. It's very flavorful. It's very sweet. It's not, offensive at all. Not on the nose, not on the palate. It's got a little spice to it. And by spice, I don't mean like ethanol jaggedness, you know what I mean? I mean, it's got like I don't know if the spice comes from the malt or from the barrels. And of course, just about none of these blended whiskeys tell you what blends they're from. I mean, Scotland's got over 100 distilleries. A lot of them are just commercial distilleries that only produce whiskey for blenders. And then you've got your famous single malt whiskey, distilleries. A lot of them are world class, world famous. You know the deal. So, once again, on the nose. Yeah, not bad. It's not offensive. Super sweet, honey, vanilla. Yeah, not bad. It's not a bad nose. It's not unpleasant. On the palate, I would say the palate's not as good as the nose. There's a lot more spice on the palate. Like I said, I don't know if that's barrel spice or if that's barley spice. I don't really know. It could be that they use, a blend of not just single malts, but single grains. You know what I mean? There's a difference between single malt and single grain whiskey. And you guys can get it. It has to do with whether it's all malted barley, whether they use unmalted barley, whether they use different grains. Some Scotch distilleries use corn. And rye. You know what I mean? So there's no limit. The only limitation on Scotch whiskey is whether you can call it a single malt Scotch. You know what I mean? You can use whatever you want. but you can't call it a single malt if you're using other kind of grains. So with that being said, bullshit aside, J&B, the Mad Mix cheap whiskey review, number 24. J&B blended Scotch whiskey. As you can tell, it's so rare you can find it in every liquor store. It's so rare you'll be able to find it every day of the week. Okay, enough bullshit. And I'm going to give it a 7.1. I think it's pretty good, especially for the price point. Now, I paid $19.99 out the door. No taxes, no nothing in my state, as you guys know. Do I think it's drinkable? Yes. Do I think it's pretty good for its price? Yes. Do I think it's the best blended Scotch whiskey that I've had in this series for under $22, $23? No. There have been a few blended Scotch whiskeys that I've really liked. I like this one. Would I buy it again? Probably not. Not knowing, not having drank 24 cheap whiskeys, and a lot of them Scotches and Irish whiskeys, it would not rank amongst my favorite. It'd be middle of the pack. Is it drinkable? Yes. If you're not a Scotch fan, would this be a place to start for a cheap price? Yeah, it would be. It's comfortable. It's approachable. You're not going to be offended by it. But if you have a taste for Scotch or Irish whiskey, there are much better whiskeys in this price range that you could get. If you don't believe me, go back into some of my videos. There are 23 previous ones. Some of them been real good. Real gems for their price point. So not bad, not good. I gave it a 7.1, 7.1 sounds about right. All right, you'll have no problem finding it. I'll guarantee you that much. You won't have any problem finding this whiskey. Whether or not you like it, that's entirely up to you. Hey, love yourself. Love your friends. Love your family. Remember, I drink cheap whiskey so you don't have to. And love cheap whiskey.